It begins with a single note. A Las Vegas detective writes down one name in the margins of an interview transcript, and no one notices it. Not in 1996, not in 2006, not in 2016. It sits there for decades, ignored, forgotten, until now. Because the moment Netflix dropped Sean Combs' The Reckoning, that tiny handwritten note resurfaced online, and suddenly, millions of people started asking the same question. Wait, did Diddy have something to do with Tupac's murder? Old evidence got dragged back into the light. Old interviews started going viral again. Old rumors suddenly didn't feel like rumors anymore. And before anyone even had time to blink, social media exploded with one sentence plastered everywhere. Now listen, I'm not saying anything has officially gone down, and I'm definitely not saying anything has been confirmed. What I am saying is this. After this documentary dropped, the conversation surrounding Diddy and the decades-old Tupac case erupted into something we haven't seen in years. The theories, the resurfaced interviews, the old police notes, the timing, it all blew up at once. And depending on who you ask, it's either complete coincidence or the most suspicious sequence of events we've seen in a long time. So before you jump to conclusions, watch this entire video, because the context behind what sparked all this is way crazier than the headline you clicked. And today, we're diving into every piece of the chaos. The resurfaced claims, the leaked interviews, the police notes, the Keefe D statements, the Snoop Dogg angle, Suge Knight's claims, fan theories, and everything The Reckoning accidentally reignited about one of the biggest unsolved murders in music history. Let's get into it, because this is one of the wildest blends of documentary fallout and hip-hop mystery I've seen in years. When Netflix announced Sean Combs' The Reckoning, nobody expected the Tupac conversation to explode again. The doc focuses on Diddy's career, controversies, allegations, and reputation, not the Tupac case. But here's the thing about documentaries. They change how people look at everything surrounding the person. When people binge watch 4 hours of power, control, intimidation, behind-the-scenes influence, dark industry politics, carefully managed narratives, silent settlements, uncomfortable details, it makes them revisit all the other stories connected to that person. And the documentary heavily links Diddy and Tupac's connection, and how envious Diddy was of Tupac's friendship with Biggie. The internet watched this documentary and immediately said, hold on, if this is the stuff being admitted, then what about the other stuff? Which leads us to the next explosion. Someone re-uploaded a clip of Keefe D claiming he had conversations with Diddy about both of them, meaning Tupac and Suge Knight. That clip alone rekindled 20 years of speculation. And that's when things snowballed. In the documentary itself, there's even exclusive conversations of Keefe D, the man who's currently locked up in connection with Tupac's murder. And he makes it clear in his words that Diddy was linked to the hiring of the incident. Keefe D claimed Diddy told him, "Man, I want to get rid of them dudes," referring to Tupac and Suge Knight. When discussing the price for the hit, Keefe D claimed he and his associates said, "We'll wipe their ass out quick, man. It's nothing." When asked by an officer in a taped interview who brought up the amount of $1 million, Keefe D replied, "Shit, he did. It wasn't me." He also stated on the tape that Combs had several conversations with him to kill both of them. Keefe D, a former Compton Southside Crip, has told the Tupac story in at least 5 different versions over the past 15 years. Sometimes he downplays it. Sometimes he admits things. Sometimes he hints. Sometimes he denies. Sometimes he says it on camera like he's narrating a documentary of his own. But the clip that blew up again after The Reckoning is the one where detectives ask, "Which of the 4 events did you talk to Puffy at?" And Keefe D answers, "Every one of them, Tupac and Suge." Now, rewind. These claims have never been proven, never been charged, and never been legally confirmed. But the documentary built such an intense portrait of Diddy that this old clip suddenly looked way more sinister. Fans immediately connected the dots. 4 events? Discussing both of them? Diddy was there? This is too weird. Whether Keefe D is telling the truth or telling stories isn't the point. The point is that the documentary created a context where his words hit harder. The internet loves connecting pieces, even if they don't actually connect in real life. This is where things hit maximum chaos. There's a long-standing claim, again coming from Keefe D, that Diddy allegedly offered money to take care of Tupac during the height of the East Coast-West Coast feud. Is there proof? No. Did police ever verify it? No. But that didn't matter, because as soon as The Reckoning dropped, people clipped the bounty story and turned it into viral TikToks with dramatic music and captions like, "Netflix exposed him in plain sight. Diddy was playing chess for decades. He's done now." That's the power of narrative momentum. When people already believe someone is capable of shady things, old rumors suddenly start feeling like evidence. The doc painted Diddy as a hyper-controlling, self-protective, empire-building figure who liked to manage everything. So viewers were like, if he could do all that, then what else could he have done? Not evidence, but emotion. And emotion spreads way faster than facts. Now here's the part that really pushed the Diddy arrested talk after the doc. An old Las Vegas police note resurfaced. Nothing confirmed, nothing official. Just a handwritten detail from the 90s, but one screenshot got millions of views. Why? Because the note mentioned a conversation involving Keefe D, Bad Boy, industry beef, a possible payment. Again, it means nothing legally, but fans turned it into Vegas PD had Diddy on their radar all along. They knew it from day one. This proves it. The arrest is coming. People treat any piece of paper with Diddy and Tupac on it like it's FBI level proof. And the reason they're reacting this way? Because the reckoning made Diddy look like someone who always stayed one step ahead. So old notes now feel like missed clues. Let's be honest. 50 Cent has been waiting for this moment. For years, he's joked, hinted, trolled, mocked, and stirred the pot about Diddy's past. At one point, he literally joked, "Maybe I said something crazy because he got Tupac hit." Everyone laughed it off back then. But now, after the reckoning, after old evidence resurfaced, after the internet turned into a detective agency, people suddenly treat 50 like he's been dropping clues the whole time. Comments everywhere. 50 tried to warn us. He knew everything. He made this doc for a reason. And it doesn't matter if it's serious or trolling. 50's influence is massive, and his involvement added fuel to the fire. People genuinely believe the reckoning was step one in a long-term plan to expose Diddy fully. Is that true? No one knows. But the timing? Immaculate. Now let's talk about a clip that completely changed after the doc. Years ago, Diddy went on The Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne respectfully asked him about the Tupac rumors. Diddy immediately cut him off. "We don't entertain nonsense." Back then, people moved on. Now, everyone is reanalyzing that clip. Comments are like, "He cut that off too quick. He was nervous. He didn't want to slip up. He shut that down instantly." Again, it's people reacting emotionally to a documentary that reframed Diddy as a master of controlling narratives. When you see someone portrayed like that in a doc, all their old interviews start to look different. And this is exactly why the Tupac conversation exploded again. Another misunderstood detail. People online started saying, Diddy was mentioned 77 times in the new legal filing about Tupac. That sounds insane, but it's misleading. Being mentioned doesn't mean accused. It doesn't mean police have evidence. It doesn't mean someone is guilty. But fans ran with the headline, "He's cooked. It's over. Arrest incoming." The documentary created an environment where people expect big consequences. So any number, even something like 77 mentions, becomes sensational overnight. Here's where theories get wild. Snoop Dogg and Tupac were not on good terms in the final days. Snoop said, "We were best friends. Then 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me." They had tension over interviews. They had tension over Biggie. They had tension over loyalty. And then, Snoop wasn't in the car the night Tupac was shot. Fans started spinning that into, Snoop knew something. Snoop sensed danger. Snoop heard things. Again, no evidence. But the reason these theories blew up now? Because the documentary made people believe everyone around Diddy and Death Row was operating in a high-stakes power war. It created an atmosphere where everything feels intentional. That's why these old Snoop interviews trend every time Diddy's name trends. This theory never dies. The idea that Tupac survived, or escaped, or was removed for safety, or ended up in Cuba, or Malaysia, or Mexico. Multiple clips resurfaced. Suge Knight saying Tupac was laughing and joking at the hospital. Suge's son posting photos of Tupac in 2018. A 2010 interview where Trey casually says he saw Tupac in Cuba. Are these real? Probably not. But after the reckoning, people started asking, if powerful people can hide things, what else could have been hidden? And boom, Tupac alive theories exploded again. Here's the real reason why Diddy arrested became a trend after the documentary. It's not because of new evidence. It's not because of police statements. It's not because of legal updates. It's because the documentary painted a picture of a man who always had influence. Old allegations resurfaced. Keefe D is finally in custody. 50 Cent is stirring the pot. Police have said they're open to new information. The internet wants closure. People want a dramatic ending to the Tupac story. And the documentary gave them the emotional push to revisit everything. Even though legally, nothing points toward a Diddy arrest. Narratively, it feels like something big is coming. And that's why the speculation is louder than ever. So here's my question for you. Do you think this is all internet hype? Or do you think the documentary accidentally unlocked something people ignored for decades? Do you think Keffe D's old interviews finally matter? Do you think police reopen anything? Do you think any of these claims could lead anywhere? Or is this all just theory and timing? Let me know down below. If you want a part 2 where I break down the entire Tupac timeline, the Keffe D interrogation tapes, or the full chronology of Diddy's involvement in the East Coast-West Coast feud, let me know, because this story is far from over. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.